Okay, we are doing factoring by grouping today. Just a few things. First off, when we factor by grouping, there will be 4 or more terms. Okay, so 4 or more terms in order to do group by or factoring by grouping. Okay, so that means that got distracted. But that just means that we'll have something like 2x plus 4y plus 3x y plus 9x. Okay, something like that. That's not a good example, but it'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms or more. Okay, terms are going to be put into different groups. Okay, so we're going to group them off in parentheses, and then we're going to take out the GCF. If you remember, the GCF is the greatest common factor. So we're going to take out something that goes or divides both numbers. So we put them into groups, hence the factor by grouping. Okay, I should have written this one down. That's an example of a 4-term polynomial. Okay, so here we go. Steps to factoring by grouping. First, we're going to split into two groups where there are terms that have common factors. That's a fancy way of just saying, you know what? These both have y's, so let's group these two together. And then let's group the second half together. So I've got 3xy minus 21y plus 5x minus 35. I've grouped those into two groupings, and if you notice, this one has things in common and this one has things in common. So what we need to do is figure out what exactly they're going to have in common. So we're going to factor out the greatest common factor, or the GCF. Okay, so if I have the 3xy, white out. So if I have 3xy minus 21y, let's see, 21 is 3 times 7. So they have a 3 in common and they have a y in common. So my common factor here is 3y. What's left is an x and a 7. Okay, if we look at our second one, 5x minus 35, 5 and x are as small as I go, but 35 is 5 times 7. So, so if you look at what they have in common, sorry about that guys, is they have a 5. So a 5 is going to come out, and if you notice this was plus, this remained plus. Okay, I have left an x, a minus, and then a 7. So x minus 7. Okay, so we factored out the greatest common factors. Next thing is we're going to write our two factors. So remember, a factor of 35 is 5 times 7. It's what multiplies and gives me the original. Okay, so one will be the group that matches, or the terms that appear in both. So if you notice right here, these two match, x minus 7, x minus 7. That should always happen, that these two will always match. So that's going to be one of our factors, x minus 7. Okay, our second one, the other factor, will be the two outside greatest common factors. Well, the two outside greatest common factors are 3y and then a positive 5, a plus 5. So those are my factors, and that is actually factoring by grouping. So we're going to check this. So if I took x minus 7, one factor, and times it by 3y plus 5, and I FOILed it or I multiplied it out, we're going to see what it gives us. So x times 3x, x times 3y is 3xy. X times 5 is positive 5x. Negative 7 times 3y is negative 21y. Negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. If you notice, that is the original problem. So that just is our check. Yes, it works. These two are my answers. So we're going to just do a couple more of those. Okay, so for our first one, we have 6n cubed plus 3n squared plus 8n plus 4. I'm going to group the first two together, group the second two together. Then we're going to look at what they have in common. 6 is 2 times 3, n cubed is 1, 2, 3 n's, and then we have 3 and then 2 n's. Okay, so they have a 3 and 2 n's. 3 and 2 n's. So the 3 and 2 n's, or n squared, come out. What's left? A 2, an n, a plus, and I've took everything out here. So if I was to distribute this in, I would need a 1 here, because 3n squared times 1 is 3n squared. Okay, plus 8 is 2 times 4n, and we've just got a 4. So I'm actually not going to break that one any down, because I see there's a 4 and a 4 in common. So 4 is my greatest common factor. I have a 2 and an n left. And again, I have a plus. And if I'm distributing, 4 times 2n is 8n. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay? You notice these two match. So that's my first factor, 2n plus 1. My second factor are these two outside greatest common factors. 3n squared plus 4. And then we could go ahead and FOIL that back, distribute that just like we did here with the check, and it should give us this one right here. On your assignment, I would check it. On this one, we're just going to go for it. Okay, last one. So x cubed plus 4x squared plus 3x plus 12. Group the first two, group the second two. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 x's. We have a 4 and 1, 2 x's. Okay, you can break down 4 to 2 times 2, but this one doesn't have any numbers, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. We have 2 x's and 2 x's. So 2 x's, or x squared, comes out. I'm left with 1x, a plus, and then a 4. Okay, 12 is 3 times 4, so I've got 3's in common. Okay, right here is a plus, so plus, a 3 comes out. I'm left with an x, plus, and a 4. Okay, on your assignment, these two should always match. If they don't, then we probably didn't get the right greatest common factor. So x plus 4 is an answer, and then my two remaining, or my two outside factors, x squared plus 3. And we're done. Okay, so on your guys' assignment today, it shouldn't be any trickier than this, and I hope you have a great day.